Alright, so I while I don't have an exact clear plan of what I would like to discuss, I decided I wanted to make a video about all these changes to EBT and Snap. So EBT is just the electronic version of Snap. Originally with Snap, you got it, they're sometimes called food stamps in the United States. That's because you actually used to get these little stamps, these coupons that would allow you to buy food. Hi, Trick Trick. Hi. Um, but then it's SNAP Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program and EBT, which those things are the same. They're basically it's money on a card that you get to use on food. There is like cash assistance, but there's no reason to complicate it. Most people who are on SNAP and EBT get the food assistance, and that's the issue we're talking about. So the reason I wanted to bring it up is because, as a lot of people might have heard, uh, there are many states. I'm not going to bother myself with getting the actual data about it right now because that is something that is changing almost daily, quite literally, as to which states are trying to do this or not trying to do it and have done it and blah blah blah. And the details of so what states are trying to do now is a, apply. It's complicated. Well, yeah, it is complicated, but it's also which makes it hard to explain because it's a little bit weird. But um, how to explain this? Basically, there are, and it's state by state. Um, the person in charge of doing this for the state can apply so that in their state, um, the people who are on SNAP slash EBT food assistance, they can no longer buy junk foods, specifically soda and candy. The main thing that's being targeted, if you will, in all this is soda, but candy is also getting hit by a lot of states. Um, and I would first like to start off this entire video um, with saying flat out, I completely understand the perspective that a lot of taxpayers have where they're saying, I'm okay even paying for someone who needs it to get help with paying for food, but I didn't sign up to buy someone soda. That is a fair point. I There's no getting around it. But and here's where I'm going to go and argue against it. Um, you know, you have to keep in mind that when you make blanket legislation like this, you're impacting everyone. And the reason I'm making a video about this is because it's going to impact people with disabilities. Because I know that there are a lot of people who have disabilities who are on SNAP and EBT, including myself. And my I get SSI, which is Social Security income, because of autism. And with the cost of rent and everything else, there is I, there is absolutely no way that I could budget for food. I don't think it's possible. Um, and I get an extra. It's almost $300 a month to spend specifically on food. And that I don't know. That's just it. You know, it's people. A lot of people in this issue are saying, "Oh, I'm not paying for hungry kids to drink soda." And that's okay. That cool. I'm glad you have that opinion. But um, you're impacting like adults with different disabilities and people might turn around and say, "Well, I don't think I should be encouraging people with disabilities to do things like drink soda either." It's like, okay, fine, but at some point, like, just let people live. I mean, you're talking about, well, the people on disability, there, it might entirely be possible that their only means of any kind of income or paying for food is with benefits, whether it's Social Security or food assistance, what have you. It's all coming out of benefits anyway. So like, it, but the only difference is if you tell people they can't do it, get it with SNAP or EBT, they could just buy it with their Social Security money. Like it doesn't make any sense. Um, and it's just being what it seems like overly restrictive on what you can and can't buy specifically with food assistance cards or money. Um, I don't know. It seems odd. I also I don't like it because, and of course I am aware that depending on your views, this shouldn't necessarily matter, but I am not overweight. I've never been overweight, and frankly, I never foresee being overweight. Um, I, I can eat all the junk food in the world, and I would not have a problem with eating or with my weight. And, whether I'm lucky or whether I offset it with other activities, whether this, that, or the other, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I know that there are times when I haven't eaten, I haven't drank anything, and sometimes I want something like really salty or like Gatorade or something. Okay, fine. But sometimes I want nothing more than like a soda, something cold and sweet and fast. Um, and I can go into the corner store or the gas station or whatever if I've been out all day and I'm on my way home and I haven't consumed anything in like 4 hours, I just get a soda on my way home. And I can use the food assistance card to do that. Um, and, you know, a lot of times, and this is a silly way to put it, but a lot of times it kind of makes me feel better. Not because I'm drinking a soda, but it's cold, it's liquid, it's sweet, it's getting all these things that, well, not all these things, but some of these things that my body is kind of deprived of in that moment. Um, yeah, and I also frankly I like sodas because I this is kind of another almost silly thing to say, but they are like little cans of calories, and so if I'm not really thinking, like if I'm not really in the mood to be like eating or whatever, and I still need some kind of calorie intake. Sometimes I'll just drink a soda. Like I know there's those like Ensure things, and yes, that's fine and dandy, and they're great. Um, sometimes I just not in the mood. I don't know what else to say. Um, so I just I think completely banning candy and sodas is a bit of an overreach, and you're impacting, all these little moments in people's lives where they just make the casual decision to, I'm gonna go get a soda. I do also think it would be pretty weird to have to situate like, oh, I can't get soda because I'm disabled. Yeah, I'd have to set aside money that I would otherwise pay for rent on soda because I can't get it with the food card anymore. That's just weird. That's I'm sorry. That just sounds weird. Um, and I get wanting people to be healthy and this, that, and the other. I don't think stopping people from drinking soda is going to accomplish that. I don't think stopping people from buying Twizzlers and Airheads and Hershey's is going to stop that. Um, I don't know what is, if it can be, but that banning these things, I really don't think is going to help with your overall goal. And the other thing is people will sit back there and say, "Oh well, we're not doing this to people with disabilities. We're doing it because we don't want kids drinking soda." Well, the problem is when you make blanket legislation like this, it's blanket legislation like this. Um, so I don't know. Um, that's pretty much all I've got to say about these things, and um, I think it's a bit silly and an overreach into the lives of people with disabilities, whether or not that is an intended consequence or not. And I think that's a bit odd to be doing. And I also think it's really odd that no one's talking about it, which, maybe people are sitting back and saying, I don't think calling for disabled people to be able to drink soda is a worthwhile cause. And that may be a legitimate point, and maybe that's why no one's uh, saying these things. But I just find it bizarre, and I find the people that are going to be impacted by it, like why? It's just so odd to me. Anyway, that's my rambling 15 minutes worth of sense on it. And have a good one.